Hey, all, Mark Slane with the United States Krav Maga Association here. Today, talking about oh things in weapons disarms techniques that make me cringe, and I certainly don't want to sound like I'm right and everyone else is wrong. There are too many people that think that way in the self-defense field. Um, to think that I'm doing it right and anything else is just flat out wrong. Whatever you're doing, if it's not what I'm doing, it's wrong. To me, that means you're done growing. You're shutting off to everything else. You've got all the answers, so you're no longer going to grow. You're not going to make things any better because you've evidently discovered it all. So that's crazy to me. I uh, I like being educated. I like continuing to get education, but there are just certain things that we need to think about when we look at a weapons disarm and decide if we want to learn that or not. Um, One of my first things I look for, I guess, is that we've developed pretty much a well, I shouldn't say we've developed. Other people, I'm sure, have come up with this, and we stole it from them. But there is for a handgun defense, there's a cupping technique. This is the one we teach because it's pretty much the same defense from 7 or 8 different positions. Whether I'm on my knees, the gun's in front of me, the gun's at my temple, I'm mounted on the ground. If I can have one defense that takes care of 7 different problems, um, well, good for me. That's way less practice. It's less hesitation when there is a gun on me. I don't have to, which one of those 7 was I supposed to learn? In Krav, we like the quote that Krav Maga is pretty cool in the fact that it has the fewest answers to the most questions. If I can have one defense that takes care of a bunch of different positions I can find myself in, this is just gold, especially when we teach law enforcement. They don't have a lot of time to practice 7 or 8 different defenses. If we can learn one and it works in all those positions, well, good for us. And the same thing with our knife. We pretty much have now basically one defense for overhead attack, straight stab, underhand, slashing, shanking. Um, Again, this will come out of us because we know one. We don't have to sit there and hesitate and think about which one we're supposed to use. Um, I suppose there might be, for instance, a gun from the front. There might be a better technique, which I don't think so. But if there were, suppose it's 10% better, a handgun from the front, and the same person has a 10% better one from the temple, from the side. The same person has a 10% better one from on the knees. The problem is all those 10% better ones are totally different. It takes a lot more reps, a lot more practice, a lot more thinking of which one was it when I need to use it. Truly, those 10% better techniques make the officer I'm teaching 70% less safe. Now he's got way more training time he needs to put in. He's going to hesitate trying to remember which one that he was supposed to use. In my opinion, that's a mistake to have completely different, angle change or the gun's a little further away, the gun's over at this angle. Now all of a sudden I have to come up with completely different technique, and this drives me crazy. Um, I don't see the logic behind it. A lifelong martial artist or a gun guy, a knife defense guy that wants to spend years and years in a system just learning knife or gun. Well, fantastic. Train as much as you want. I'm too lazy for that, and I don't train a lot of people that have that kind of time. Um, Kind of going along with that is a handgun defense that you take the handgun from your face and go up. No, 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 no. That just make right there. It's just no. We're just not doing that. It's going off. The scumbag got his finger on the trigger. He's nervous. As soon as I move or touch it, it's going off. Matter of fact, I believe it was in California somewhere, but it was a law enforcement officer called to. Evidently, a little old lady called him to the house, saying there was a burglar in there. He gets there and the door's open. He goes in. He turns the corner and she's there and she shoots him. He got a side redirection out and it blew his teeth out. That's how close that was. If he'd have been taught the one that goes up, he'd be a dead man. Um, there's just no way I'm going to take that handgun, across my brain bucket. And, I told someone, well, if it's here, why not go up? Okay, but does that mean down here now I have to come up with a whole different defense? Again, that's crazy. I don't have time to decide exactly where the thing's pointed. If it's in my face, I am doing a defense. So, I cringe right away whenever I see a handgun defense that goes straight up. Um, Not a fan of full body motions. Someone just sent me one on Facebook. Um, she was sharp, and it wasn't a horrible defense, but her first thing she did was move her entire body to the side of the weapon to get her hands on it. An old saying that I constantly tell my students: our hands are faster than your body faster than your feet. If you're stepping, you've made it as slow as you can. We step only if it's a distance problem. That getting over to the side before you've redirected the weapon or as you're redirecting the weapon, that's just a big motion. And again, we're not racing that. We're racing them realizing we're doing something and doing that. So Um, to me, anything full body, we redirect it with our hand, and then we cup it, we go in. Our hands can be pretty quick, way faster than our our body taking an entire motion around the side of a weapon. Just never a good idea. And then when I see a lot of the defenses, I think especially of knife defenses that have really big motions, really big movements, I'm thinking they must think they'll never be attacked in the aisle of a bus, or on an airplane. Um, as soon as we think, we train with all this room, that just the way things seem to happen with our luck, we'll end up being attacked with no space whatsoever. A crowded bar, a bathroom stall. I mean, all of a sudden, all those defenses where we had to take all those steps and do all that movement, it just didn't go to work. Um, so to me, that's a mistake to have a lot of movement, a lot of side to side movement or back and forth movement in a defense, because I don't know where I'm going to be attacked. It'd be a horrible spot, very tight spot. Not striking. See this a lot with handgun defenses. They take it, they twist it, they take it out of their hand. Most of us know what the OODA loop is. It's also called Boyd's circle, OODA. Whenever something happens, we have to observe, orient, decide, and act. So if I grab this guy's gun and start to twist it, he observes, he orients, this guy's trying to take this gun. He decides he's going to fight back, and he acts. He fights back for it. We've done nothing to reset that loop. Krav Maga always has strikes. He can observe and orient that I've redirected his gun before he gets to decide and act. He's been kicked in the groin. He has to observe that happen, orient to it, decide what before he gets to act. Whatever we've punched him in the side of the neck. It's just keep them in the loop while we are out of the loop. We've got through OODA, and we keep them in OO. This to me just makes a good defense. We break their concentration. We break what they're trying to do. A punch to the face, they have to reset before they can. Might take just a split second, but they're resetting there. They're not thinking, whatever they were trying to do. I'm not stabbing you anymore because I just got punched. Okay, now I'm going to stab you and oh, I got kicked. So, this OODA is a brilliant concept that we really try to follow with our weapons disarms. Complicated? Oh my goodness. When I see these complicated defenses with all these moving parts and all these steps you have to do, I always just think to myself, that person looks good in a gym. They've never studied what real world violence is or what it does to us. We're going to have this massive rush of, goodness, not just adrenaline, it's a whole chemical cocktail. There's no way we're pulling off complicated moves. This just drives me crazy. Handgun defenses, we're pulling away at the end before we have the weapon. Not a fan. See, a stick and a knife we don't have to take with us. We can just push off and then whatever, run or go find something to beat them with. A handgun we always have to take with us. That's a distance weapon. It can kill me from 30 foot away. So if I'm pulling away and it goes to crap and I slip and fall down, I'm falling away from that person. If I fall, it's going to be into that person. We're going forward, going forward. Now I have the weapon. Now I can leave. It's always forward, forward, forward. If it goes to crap, and it's most likely to go to crap. I guess you don't hear that with a lot of defense systems, but yeah, this isn't going to come out perfect. This is going to go to crap. There'll be slipping, falling. It's bloody. We expect them to go to crap and plan for when they go to crap. So pulling away a handgun before you have it in your possession, too many things can go wrong there. So, just another thing I'm not a fan of. Last would be a wrist grab with a knife attack. Lots of those out there. I'm grabbing a wrist. I mean, think about it. Hands are fast. If it's a sewing machine needle type of attack, that hand is moving. Up to 6 foot, if I'm a 6-footer, it's coming at you. And to think I'm going to grab that wrist, that's crazy. That's crazy. Then you add blood, which is a slippery substance, to that wrist. That's just not going to happen. In our knife defenses, after we block and smack, we go and bear hug up in the armpit. I don't care how far the arm's traveling or the wrist is traveling with that knife. This is in one place. I can bear hug that and get to that. And if it's really slippery, oh well, I'm bear hugging it way up into the core of their body. So, just when you see knife defenses and you decide whether you're going to learn them or not, handgun defenses, stick defenses, whatever the weapon is, I guess these are just some things that I would think of and hope that you think of before you take time to learn something. Learning something useless, you'll never know until it's life and death. Eesh, that's a bad time to find out that it was useless or that it could have been better. Mark Slane, United States Krav Maga Association.